All right, we are back. I know it has been a hot minute since my last upload. I think at the time you're recording this, we're going on 8 days now of me not uploading a video, which has not happened in a very long time, probably a few months. So I just want to explain why I haven't been uploading real quick. If you don't care, obviously there's chapters in this video if you didn't see that, so you could just skip right to my campaign review. Obviously, if you don't give a shit about why I haven't been uploading, skip right to that. But for the people who do care, because I've been getting a lot of comments asking if I'm alive and why did I disappear, so let me explain that to all of you real quick. So it is really a combination of about 50 different things, but I'm going to label it down here to the main things. To be completely honest with you guys, the number one reason is the game you're watching on your screen right now, Black Ops 6. I got a little too addicted to this game, bro. It got bad. Basically, I've been grinding the shit out of this game so much. You'll see if you skip like throughout the video when I pull up my stats and like the scoreboard and everything. I'm almost Prestige 3. I already have Diamond ARs. I have been grinding the living shit out of this game, so I'm not here to lie to anyone. That is the main reason why I haven't been uploading videos. I have been enjoying the shit out of this game, and it's been a grind getting my guns all on Diamond for Dark Matter and Dark Spine, but I'm really enjoying it. Been enjoying it, but that's one of the main reasons. The second reason is I went from really uploading videos just whenever I felt like it and none of my videos getting any views to then uploading videos every day and my videos would get like thousands of views, and it was very stressful. I'm going to be real. I love uploading videos. Obviously, that hasn't changed, but obviously that's a lot of pressure to... I literally went from 0 to 100 like very quickly. And I got very overwhelmed and kind of overworked myself. Like I said, I went from barely uploading videos to daily uploads. Literally overnight. That obviously stressed me out a little bit. So I realized the other day I was getting pretty stressed out with all this, and I definitely needed a break. So those are the two main things. For anyone curious, that's why I haven't been uploading. But anyway, you clicked in this video to see my review of the Black Ops 6 campaign, and you can obviously tell by the title. I don't know what I titled it yet, but I really, this campaign is ass. Like, just to put it simply, it's a misfire in almost every way, and I'm going to break down why I really didn't like this campaign. Alright, so before I hop into the actual specifics of the story, to give this to you in basketball terms, right, this game it's a direct sequel to Black Ops 2. It takes place right after the events of Black Ops 2. I'm assuming all of you are familiar with the campaign and understand this. So, to put this in basketball terms, the story literally wrote itself. We had a wide open fast break for the game winner. We're up. It's 3-3 in the finals. The series is tied. The game is tied, right? You have a wide open fast break. The other team turns it over. You're running down the court, and all you have to do is lay the ball up wide open. And instead of laying the ball up wide open, Treyarch decided to just do a 360 windmill, fucking toss the ball to yourself off the glass like self alley-oop, doing some like between the legs bullshit. And they end up completely missing and just throwing the ball out of bounds. To me, this campaign just feels so unnecessarily complicated and crazy, to the point of when you get to the end of this story, you're left with more questions than you are answers, to the point where, like, what even was the point of me playing this campaign? Like, they answer one question, but to get to the answer of that question, they ask so many more questions that they never give an answer to. Like, by the time you get to the end of the game, you're just like, what the fuck? Like, I feel like I shouldn't have played this campaign after beating it. That's really how I feel. So I'm going to hop into the specifics of the story now, but there's my very broad, like, overview of the story. Completely unnecessary, I think, is the best word I can use to simplify it. So my biggest complaint with this campaign, on top of what I just said, it doesn't feel like a Call of Duty game. And I've been seeing everyone else online, or the vast majority of people online who play this campaign who don't like it, are saying the exact same thing as me. And I've seen Ink Slasher talking about this and a lot of other big Call of Duty campaign YouTubers, right? This game doesn't feel like a Call of Duty game. The first mission does. I will give them credit, and there are a couple that do. Right, there's the first mission where Adler comes in and blows that dude's fucking head off, right? And you're just left completely confused. That felt like a Call of Duty mission. The other one that did is when you're infiltrating Bill Clinton's dinner, right, with all his donors and shit, his campaign thing, and you have to break Adler out of the CIA site. That was a very good mission as well. But those were the only two missions that really felt like Call of Duty. The rest of this game just, I feel like at one point with all the zombies bullshit, I'm playing BioShock, and then they're talking about like a fucking biological weapon getting released and turning everyone into zombies, which feels like Resident Evil. So throughout this game, you feel like you're playing Resident Evil, you feel like you're playing BioShock, and you feel like you're playing Call of Duty. There's just too much going on. Like, all they had to do was make a tight-knit story, right, with a mole being in the CIA. This game was a slam dunk, like I said, from the get-go. And they're just doing too much shit. Like, there was no reason to bring this whole thing about zombies into it and overcomplicate the living shit out of this story. Genuinely, there was absolutely no reason for that. And what really bothers me with this campaign is it starts really well, and then it just plummets downhill. And then you have another good mission where you're like, oh wow, like I'm talking about the Bill Clinton campaign rally. You're like, oh, okay, that last mission was kind of ass, like, but that one was really good, so I'm excited to play the next one. And then it feels weird. Like, all the zombie shit was so unnecessary. It's very confusing. Now, let me hop into the actual story of this, because that's another thing I want to talk about, okay? Harrow being the mole in the CIA, I think that was a completely stupid decision. Everything involving her character and with the zombies and all of that, just a misfire on every level, okay? It would have been literally infinitely more interesting, and I genuinely mean this, if literally any other character was the mole in this game, it would have been more interesting. Like, we obviously knew it wasn't going to be Woods, right? If it was Marshall, it would have been more interesting. If it was you, Case, the player, it would have been more interesting. If it was the Daniel Livingstone dude, that would have been more interesting. Or if it was anyone else, genuinely, they literally made the worst possible decision making Harrow the mole. Like, no one really gave a shit about her, and they tried so desperately near the end of the campaign to build up her character because she was just ignored for the entire game. And then you get to the end of the game, and all of a sudden it's, boom, Harrow's the mole. And they have like 3 missions in a row just absolutely trauma dumping her entire character. You just get a lore dump back to back to back to the point where it's like so draining that you don't even want to keep playing the game because you don't give a shit about that character. So choosing her to be the mole and then like drama dumping all of her backstory onto you in one mission is just completely stupid. Any other character, like I said, would have been a better fit to be the mole of the CIA. Her character was literally just a wet fart that nobody gave a shit about, and they tried to put so much emphasis on her being one of the main characters in the story, and nobody gave a shit, and I think that's the biggest problem with this campaign. And bringing zombies into this and all of the unnecessary shit that they did, like I was talking about bringing in the biological weapon, all of it was just so unnecessary. I will give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, what they did with the zombies virus and all that shit, that actually could have been very interesting if that was written well, because they actually could have tried to tie together the campaign and the zombies, which has never been done before. So that could have been interesting in theory, so I will give them credit for trying something new instead of trying to, just make the same mission or campaign like every other year where you're just trying to stop a nuke from detonating. That's like the Call of Duty biggest complaint right now with the campaigns, but I do respect them for trying something new, but it just misfires on every level with how shittily and the pacing is so bad and how badly the story is written. Just everything about this is just so dumb. And then you find out at the end of the game, right, when they pose all of these questions about the zombie virus and all this shit, they then add another question on top of everything that hasn't been answered about how Case is apparently from the Pantheon and he's become like a super soldier, like on some Captain America shit. This dude is a super soldier now. And then they just don't bother answering that question at all. And then they throw some random dude in the post-credit scene. I've seen theories online on who he is. We have no idea. Right? I think the biggest thing that I could say about this campaign is there is just too much shit going on. They overcomplicated it so much. And it really could have just been a slam dunk story. Like, I want you all to imagine this right now. Forget Harrow is even a character. Or if you don't want to forget that she's a character, she's just in the beginning of the game, or she's a very small side character that's friends with Troy that's inside the CIA, right? Troy Marshall. Imagine how much better the story would have been if Adler was the mole. Literally, we only changed that. Because the entire story, you're trusting Adler, you're breaking him out of a black site, you're doing all this shit, and you're working with Adler the whole time. Imagine if at the end of the game, right, where we find out Harrow is the mole, we find out Adler is the mole instead. Because everyone loves Adler and he's a great character. That would have been so much more interesting than the bullshit that we got in this game with Harrow's character and how boring she was and nobody cared about her. That genuinely, that would have taken this campaign from like a 2 out of 10 to me to like a 6, because that would have made it so much more interesting. But I feel like they did way too much shit with the zombies. Like, if they would have cut out the whole zombies part and all the extra shit that went on there, this game would have been so much better. And literally, if they switched the mold to anyone else, my pick would have been Adler, but you might have a different opinion, right? Literally anything else they could have done with this campaign would have been more interesting. But to recap here before I end the video, this was the easiest slam dunk of all time. You could have just written a generic story about a mole being in the CIA and just made it be Adler or like be one of the other characters or be Marshall or whoever else. And get rid of all the zombies bullshit, and this campaign would have been infinitely better. So this is one of the rare instances where Call of Duty actually could have been more lazy and the game would have been better. So I genuinely don't know what the hell's going on with them. This campaign was a misfire on every level. It's not as bad as Black Ops 3's campaign, I do want to say that. That campaign is just, oh my god, to this day. That campaign is ass. At least this one is better than that, but that's not saying much. From all the campaigns that I played, this is easily the worst one. To give a final rating here, I already kind of spoiled it earlier. I gave this a 2 out of 10. I'll switch it to a 3, actually, because the first mission, and the mission where you're breaking Adler out of the CIA black site and you're driving out of there on a dirt bike that's on a goddamn auction house, you're driving out of there and killing the shit out of everyone. That was a great mission, and so was the first mission. But the rest of the game is just bloated and shit. So that's really all I gotta say about this. I had really high hopes for this campaign. I really also hoped that they were gonna bring Mason back into this. It makes sense why they didn't, and I liked all the Black Ops 2 Easter eggs in here, where you could talk to Woods or talk to Adler about Jason Hudson, right, or Mason, or any of the other Black Ops characters. I like those Easter eggs being in there, and like Woods talking about how he's going to raise David Mason. That's a great Easter egg. For those of you who don't know, Woods actually raises him in the future in the Black Ops 2 campaign. And for those of you also who don't know, next year's Call of Duty is rumored to be a direct sequel to the Black Ops 2 story, the second half of Black Ops 2 that's in the future. So next year is looking like we're going to get a very futuristic Call of Duty again. Hopefully they don't fuck that up. Again, this campaign really could be good, and just the game in general. Learning about David Mason coming up in the CIA and all the shit he did, right? That could genuinely be very interesting, but we're going to have to wait and see in that regard. I'm getting off topic here. So anyway, overall, this campaign was complete dog shit for the most part. I don't know if you guys are going to disagree with me. I've seen a lot of people also like the campaign, so I don't know. If you made it to the end of the video here, let me know how you felt about the campaign. For me personally, it did not feel like a Call of Duty campaign, and it was not for me. But you guys might disagree with me. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But anyway, people, we're back on YouTube for now. It's going to be whenever I feel like making videos, so it's probably going to be every other day right now if I had to guess. But anyway, I've been yapping for almost 14 minutes. We're out of here, people. Thank you for watching to the end. Thank you to all my members. I fucks with all of you. Thank you for all the support, and I'll be back in my next video, people. Peace.